In a verdant valley, nestled among rolling hills and a clear, babbling brook, lived a tiny hummingbird named Hachi. Hachi was so small that when he perched on a flower, he almost disappeared amidst the soft petals. His feathers shimmered like rainbow dust when the sunlight pierced through the leaves, and his wings beat so rapidly they created a tiny breeze only he could feel. He adored the sweet taste of nectar and the sensation of cool air brushing against his delicate wings as he flitted from blossom to blossom. Each day, Hachi marveled at the beauty of the small world around him. Hachi lived a peaceful life, but deep within, a great longing grew. Sometimes, when he flew higher than the treetops, a majestic mountain would appear in the distance, its peak shrouded in white clouds. Whispering winds carried stories from older birds, tales of the beauty and serenity on that mountaintop. They said that from its summit, one could see the entire world, a breathtaking vista no one in the valley had ever witnessed. That mountain became a silent invitation, a dream that constantly beckoned Hachi whenever he gazed towards the horizon. He wondered, what would it feel like to stand on that high peak? With a heart full of hope, Hachi decided to try. He flapped his wings more powerfully than ever, attempting to fly higher than the familiar treetops. But his tiny wings, no matter how quick, weren't strong enough to carry him beyond his limits. He felt his muscles ache, and each wing beat seemed heavier than the last. He drifted down, as gently as a leaf, landing exhausted on a low branch. The other birds looked at him with puzzled eyes, some whispering about the little hummingbird's naivety. "That mountain isn't for us, Hachi," an old sparrow chirped, her voice resigned. Doubt began to creep into Hachi's mind, leaving him feeling a touch of disappointment and loneliness. Hachi, with weary wings and a slumped spirit, sought out an ancient willow tree, its gnarled trunk adorned with graceful, drooping branches like flowing hair. The willow had stood there for hundreds of years, witnessing countless seasons of rain and sun, and the many stories of the forest. With a hoarse but wise voice, the willow slowly spoke, "Little Hachi, you cannot conquer the mountain with a single flap of your wings. Focus on each beat, each present moment. The mountain doesn't care how fast you fly, but whether you persist in taking flight every day." The willow's advice was like a cool breeze soothing Hachi's heart, igniting a new spark of hope within him, a different approach to his grand dream. With the old willow's advice echoing in his mind, Hachi embarked on a new journey. Every morning, as the first rays of sunlight pierced through the leaves, he took flight. He no longer tried to reach the summit immediately. Instead, he focused on flying just a little higher than the day before, even if it was only a few centimeters. His tiny wings now carried a resolute will. He clearly felt every gust of wind lifting him, every movement of the air around him. This tireless persistence gradually transformed into a habit, an inseparable part of Hachi's life. Each wing beat, however small, was a step towards his dream. Then one day, the sky turned gray and a sudden storm descended. Thunder and lightning tore through the air, and large raindrops lashed down on the foliage. Hachi, in the midst of his practice flight, had to find safe refuge under the dense canopy of an ancient fern. The storm raged for an entire day and night, bringing strong winds and torrential rain. Hachi felt cold and alone, but he did not give up his resolve. Instead, he patiently waited, knowing that every storm would eventually pass. He nestled against the trunk, listening to the howling wind, trusting that dawn would return, bringing new opportunities to continue his journey. When the storm cleared, Hachi flew out of his shelter, feeling the fresh air and the scent of damp earth. While flying in search of newly bloomed flowers, he unexpectedly encountered a blind old owl, whose eyes, though clouded, held a profound depth. The owl was slowly enjoying a beetle on a decaying branch. Hachi told the owl about his dream of conquering the mountain and his initial failures. The old owl listened attentively, then slowly recounted his own long journeys when he was young, the times he got lost in the darkness and how he found his way back simply by feel. "Sometimes," the owl said, "what matters isn't seeing the destination, but trusting the ability of your wings, and continuing to flap even when everything becomes blurry. Hachi felt a deep connection, a valuable lesson about inner strength. The old owl's words greatly empowered Hachi. He realized that the mountain was not just a physical peak, but a symbol for all the challenges in life. True strength lay not in size or speed, but in unwavering determination and self-belief. Hachi felt a new surge of energy flow through his tiny muscles. He looked towards the mountain once more, this time not with discouragement but with an iron resolve. He knew that every wing beat taken, every fall and rise, was preparation for this moment. The summit was calling, and Hachi was ready to take flight. That day, Hachi took flight. He soared over the tallest trees, ascended past the jagged rock faces he had once feared. The wind blew stronger as he climbed higher, but this time, Hachi did not fight it, he merged with every gust, using them to lift himself. His wings, beat by beat, were powerful and confident. Below him, the forest gradually shrank into a vibrant green tapestry, and the rivers wound like silver ribbons. He felt the air thinner, cooler, and an unprecedented sense of freedom filled his heart. Finally, after a long and persistent journey, Hachi broke through the last layer of clouds and saw the majestic peak of the mountain before him. He had done it. From the mountaintop, the world unfolded like a magnificent painting beneath Hachi. It wasn't the breathtaking beauty or the grandeur of the view that moved him most, but the feeling of the journey he had undertaken. He had risen above doubts, failures, and even storms. Hachi didn't just conquer the mountain, he conquered himself. The story of the tiny hummingbird who flew to the highest peak spread throughout the forest. Hachi became a living symbol of persistence, a reminder that no dream is too big if you start with small steps, persevere every day, and never give up. Hachi now often flies back to the peak, not to conquer it anymore, but to watch the sunrise and sunset. He understands that the journey is what matters, the lessons learned along the way, and the belief in oneself. He showed the forest that, no matter how small you are, as long as your heart is big enough and your wings are resilient enough, you can achieve anything. Remember, success doesn't come from giant leaps, but from the small, consistent steps taken every day. Every effort, no matter how tiny, is a building block on the path to your dreams. Cherish the journey, believe in yourself, and never stop flapping your wings. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe with the notification bell so you don't miss our next inspiring chapter.